Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all, and let's just get right into this review. So at the very beginning of this episode, Natalie ends up gathering up all the baddies for dinner, and they're supposed to be going to dinner so that they can meet some of the new girls that are going to be a part of this season, but unfortunately things ended up taking a left turn pretty quickly. Because not only did Jela and Biggie get into a couple of fights at this very dinner at the very end of last week's episode, but at the beginning of this week's episode, Bianca Bonnie ends up showing up to the dinner, and she goes around the table and she hugs everybody. And then when she gets to Sapphire, Sapphire feels somebody standing behind her, so she turns around and Bianca starts swinging on her, so the two of them start fighting. And Mariah Lynn is acting like she's confused about this whole situation, but I heard that Bianca ended up releasing some messages between her and Mariah Lynn, where Mariah Lynn knew exactly what Bianca was going to do to Sapphire. Now, I don't know if Mariah Lynn really knew, because I did not see the screenshots of the text messages. I was really late to the party when it came to that. However, I don't think that Mariah Lynn didn't know that Bianca was going to pop on Sapphire, because at the end of the day, she knows how Bianca is, and Bianca said that she was only trying to stand up for her friend. She's basically trying to do Sapphire the way that she feels like Sukihana and Sapphire did Mariah Lynn last season, and I can understand where she's coming from, because she's just trying to defend her friend. However, I do feel like Bianca is wasting her time fighting Sapphire, because Mariah Lynn already said multiple times in her confessional that she squashed the beef with Sapphire and she doesn't want any drama. So if your friend who was involved in the drama in the first place says that she doesn't want any more drama with this person, I would let it go if I was Bianca, but for some reason Bianca does not want to let it go. And I mean, I do think that she's just trying to defend her friend, but I don't really think that Mariah Lynn is oblivious to the fact that Bianca was going to do this to Sapphire. Now, after the fight between Bianca and Sapphire is over, now Kaliwae starts yelling at Natalie, because she's also one of the new girls for this season and she ended up showing up to the dinner, and apparently she has beef with Natalie that Natalie claims that she doesn't know about, but Kaliwae said that Natalie was talking shit to her on social media because of a post that she did. So now that her and Natalie are in the same place at the same time, now she wants to fight her. And look, Natalie starts yelling about how she doesn't even know Kali and that Kali's on her show and she doesn't understand why she's coming for her like this. But Kali keeps yelling and swearing at Natalie, calling her all types of names. Natalie starts throwing stuff around. They're having a back and forth. Natalie takes her shoes off. It just becomes a really messy situation, and it's starting to get really ugly really quickly. But I guess while Kali is yelling at Natalie and security is trying to push her back, she ends up banging into Mariah Lynn, or bumping Mariah Lynn. That's what Mariah Lynn said in her confessional. So Mariah grabs, Kali from behind, and that's when Bianca jumps in and the two of them are fighting Kali for a second. It was just a little scuffle. It did not last long. I mean, I get it. Kali was definitely doing too much when she showed up, but it was definitely entertaining to watch. But I don't think that her bumping Mariah Lynn was necessary for Mariah Lynn and Bianca to start fighting her. I just didn't really like it too much, only because they fought her together. I don't really like the jumping stuff. I'm not okay with that. Even if that's your friend, unless your friend is being jumped, I don't necessarily think that you should jump into anything. But that's just me. Bianca's different, so that's the reason why she jumped in, to have Mariah Lynn's back. However, I hope that Mariah Lynn will have Bianca's back the way that Bianca has her back so far, because Mariah Lynn might not end up having her back when she gets into it with somebody this season. And after the little scuffle between Kali, Bianca, and Mariah is broken up, now Kali and Natalie are kind of close next to each other and they're getting ready to fight. Natalie already kicked her shoes off. They're in the corner of the room, okay? There's a couch there. Natalie and, Kali are on this couch, but Kali's all the way in the corner of the couch. Natalie's in the middle of the couch. Natalie tries to reach over and swing on Kali. She slips and falls. She gets up. The two of them start fighting each other. They're literally in the corner of the couch fighting, and security is on top of them trying to break it up. And at this point, because Scotty and Jela are really good friends with Natalie, so they say that they are, they ended up wanting to fight Kali too, but security ended up pushing Kali into one of the bathrooms, and Natalie is yelling for security to move out the way so that she can get to Kali to fight. But Natalie was pissed off because security wouldn't let her get to Kali, that Natalie decided that she was going to leave the restaurant without everybody else. Now look, Natalie was outside yelling about how she's the queen and this is her show and how she's a millionaire. And when Natalie starts Natalieing, I just laugh about it, because it just reminds me that she has not changed from her season of Bad Girls Club. Like, she's literally the same person. She just talks a little bit different. Now, Bianca and Sapphire want to fight again. Obviously, Sapphire is upset because she feels like she got snuck by Bianca. I don't understand why she's upset about it, though. Like, I understand she's upset and she has a right to be, but she did the same thing to Mariah Lynn last season when it came to the whole Sukihana thing. She's saying that she doesn't know Bianca, and so she doesn't understand why Bianca's going after her. But she also didn't have an issue with Mariah Lynn last season either. Sukihana did, and she ended up fighting Mariah for Sukihana. So I don't understand why she's surprised that Bianca's doing the same thing. But while Bianca and Sapphire are trying to get to each other to fight, Mariah Lynn is in the background trying to get them to make up and let it go because she's over the situation. But nope, they end up getting ready to fight again because Bianca not only throws a shoe at Sapphire, but she also ends up spitting at Sapphire, which I'm not cool with the spitting thing. I think spitting is absolutely disgusting. I don't care how much you don't like somebody, spitting at somebody is really nasty. So I agree with Mariah when she said that she did not agree with, Bianca spitting at Sapphire when she was in her confessional. But Bianca and Sapphire end up fighting again. It was kind of a scuffle to me because they wasn't really able to connect their hits to each other because of the fact that security was in the way. But Sapphire definitely was swinging on Bianca, and she swung so hard that she popped her shoulder out of place. And so she ended up having to wear something over her shoulder the rest of the episode, but that did not stop her from wanting to fight again. Then out of nowhere, Kali starts yelling at Meatball, telling her that she's fake because she didn't try to help her when everybody was trying to fight her, and the two of them walked in at the same time. I didn't know that the two of them were friends. But if they were friends, then I can understand why Kali would be upset with Meatball. But if that's not her friend, then I don't understand why she was surprised that Meatball didn't do anything. I think Meatball thought that they were coming there to all meet each other. I don't think she thought a fight was going to go down right then and there. But she's getting pissed off at Kali, so she starts yelling at Kali back. And Scotty is standing next to Meatball, flinging water at Kali. I'm like, what is Scotty doing? Like, Scotty just wants to be a part of the mix for some reason, and so she's trying to squeeze her way in any way that she can. But I just thought that whole situation between Meatball and Kali was uncalled for because I don't know the relationship that Kali and Meatball had. Now, if they are friends, then I can understand why Kali was upset. If they're not friends, then I don't understand why she was upset with Meatball. What's crazy to me is that they sat down for dinner but never got to eat. It was just really, really weird. Like, I would have been pissed off if I came to a restaurant to eat and I didn't get to eat at all because everybody fought and destroyed the entire room. Aubrey's little commentary that she's been doing in her facial expressions in her confessional has been very entertaining to me throughout this episode, though. Now, the next day, Jela, Scotty, Sapphire, and Aubrey go to visit Natalie, and Aubrey was confused the entire time because she really didn't understand what was going on. And then on top of that, Sapphire is saying that because Bianca spit on her, she's gonna fight her again, and Jela is still not over the whole fight that she had with Biggie because Biggie scratched her underneath her eye. So she's saying that she's going to fight Biggie again. So it's a really messy situation. They're all getting ready to go to Barbados, and Natalie ends up letting them know that the Claremont twins will be joining them on the private jet to go to Barbados. Now look, I am a big Bad Girls Club fan, so I'm very aware of the Claremont twins. However, I was not a fan of them on their season of the Bad Girls Club. I'm just really indifferent to them. I don't really care if they're on this season or not because I don't think they're really going to bring anything to it. But I guess because of their name and because they're attached to Bad Girls Club, that's the reason why they brought them on. They do have a lot of fans. I'm just not one of them. Now, before the other group of girls end up hopping on a plane to go to Barbados, Tasiki ends up meeting up with Biggie to talk to her about the fight that she had with Jela. And although she knows that Biggie did not win the fight with Jela, she was happy that, Biggie took her advice and kept her head up during the fight because that is something that you're supposed to be doing. I don't know why Biggie does it the other way around, but she definitely is learning something from Tasiki, and I think that it's good that Tasiki is trying to help Biggie defend herself a little bit better. However, she did not like that Biggie took Jela's chain during the fight, the Baddies chain that Natalie got everybody for the show. She didn't like that she took it from Jela during the fight, and so she was asking Biggie to give her the chain so that she can give it back to Jela and they can squash the beef. But Biggie said no, she was not giving the chain back, and I honestly thought that it was lame because everybody made it a huge deal that Smiley took Mariah Lynn's chain, and that was the hugest storyline the entire season last season, and partially why nobody liked Smiley because of that situation. So I don't understand why, Biggie would go and do that to Jela and think that people would think that was okay for her to do that too. However, Biggie did end up giving Jela's chain to Tasiki so that Tasiki can give it back to Jela, and I'm glad that she did because I didn't want on a Chain to be another big storyline this season too. Now, everybody ends up arriving in Barbados, but Natalie and her group end up arriving first because obviously they took a private jet and the other girls took a plane, so they got there at different times, and Natalie's group ended up picking their rooms first. And I mean, I knew that that was going to end up being an issue, that they were the first ones to pick their rooms, because now the other girls are going to have to pick from whatever's left over, and a lot of the times it's not really nice looking rooms, so I can understand why the other girls would get a little bit upset about that. Now, when the other girls end up showing up, Jela immediately starts to address Biggie and tells Biggie that she can't stay in the house with her because Natalie said that there's another wing of the house that the other girls can stay in, and then there's also a guest house that the other girls can stay in too. And Jela immediately started addressing Biggie, telling her that she could not stay in the house with her and that she can go to the other house with the other girls because she doesn't want her around her because of the fight that the two of them ended up getting into. Jela wants to fight Biggie again, and I honestly don't think that it was necessary for Jela to address Biggie the way that she did, because I truly don't think it was the time or the place. Like, they just showed up to the house, they were on a plane for a really long time. I just thought that Jela was doing a little bit too much in this situation. I don't know if she was trying to impress the Claremont twins or what, but I just feel like she was doing too much in this situation. Like, even following Biggie around the house while Biggie was looking for her room was too much to me. And I mean, at first I felt like Biggie was handling this situation really well. She told Jela that she was going to stay in the house if she wanted to and that she was going to find her room. And Biggie was assuming that she was going to get a room that looked like Natalie's, and she said that to all the girls while she was having this back and forth with Jela. And Jela said that Natalie doesn't even really like Biggie. And look, even if Natalie doesn't really like Biggie, obviously she keeps putting Biggie on the show because some of the fans like Biggie, and so Biggie can just use Natalie, to be honest with you. I'm just saying it like it is. All Biggie needs to do is show up on the show, be herself, because a lot of the fans do like her, and get her money and get her exposure and do what she has to do, and that's the only thing that matters. I truly don't understand why Biggie cares if Natalie or any of the other OG baddies like her. Who cares if they like you or not? Just do your thing and make your money. That's it. Jela and Biggie were face to face at this point. Like, they were standing facing each other. They weren't right directly in each other's faces, but you know what I mean. And they're going back and forth with each other, and at some point Jela ends up swinging on Biggie and it connects and her lip is bleeding, I think. And Biggie walks away crying and she starts yelling at Natalie, saying that Natalie's weird and Jela's weird. I think she feels like she was set up by Natalie with this whole Jela situation, but I truly do not believe that Biggie was set up at all. Biggie was the one who threatened to smack Jela on social media, and so Jela made sure that when she saw Biggie, they were gonna fight, because, you know, if you threaten somebody and say that when you see me you're gonna hit me, then when we're face to face, make sure that you have that same energy. And so I feel like, you know, Biggie's kind of playing a victim in this situation, because yes, Jela and Natalie were on that live stream and somebody asked them who won the fight between Biggie and Rolly. At first, Jela did not want to answer because she didn't want to be messy, but Natalie told her that she knows who won the fight, so just say it. And that's when Jela started laughing, and she said that she felt like Rolly was the one that won that fight. And I think fans may have amped that whole situation up to Biggie, and she let the fans get to her head. And so she got on social media and she threatened to slap Jela the next time she saw her. So to me, Jela did what anybody else would have done in that situation, and when they were in the same place at the same time as the person who threatened to smack them on social media, they would get in their face and tell them to go do what they said that they were going to do to them. So I don't understand why Biggie is acting so confused about the situation. She shouldn't have gotten online talking shit, threatening to put her hands on people if she didn't want that person to come back and put their hands on her. Now, yes, I felt like Jela was doing too much in this situation, but Biggie was not snuck by Jela. They were standing right in each other's faces, face to face. It wasn't like Biggie was turned the other way or she was looking in a different direction. She was looking directly at Jela when this happened, and she was the same person who was yelling at Smiley last season, calling her a punk and saying that she doesn't defend herself. But then in this situation with Jela, she didn't defend herself and she started crying. Now, obviously, I have some sympathy for Biggie because she was crying, because I think she felt like she was set up in that situation, and she was yelling at Sapphire and all the other girls because she felt like the OG baddies did not have her back in that situation. But why do they have to jump in her beef that she has with Jela? Like, even if they are her friends, if it's a one-on-one situation, why would all the other girls jump in? I mean, the other girls have gotten into fights too these past 2 episodes, and Biggie hasn't jumped in for any of those fights, so I don't understand why she expected Sapphire and all these other girls to defend her in this situation. I mean, I agree with the Claremont twins and what they said in their confessional, that they felt like Jela was doing too much in this situation, because I think she was too. I feel like Biggie is not a victim in this situation at all, and here's why I don't think she's a victim. She She threatened to slap Jela in the face when she saw her because Jela said she lost the fight. She was upset about that, and so she threatened to slap the girl. So you can't expect her to see you in person and not want to fight you. And Biggie has also bullied people too. Like, to me, she was kind of bullying Stunner Girl a little bit. Like, Stunner Girl was absolutely not innocent, but Biggie just jumped on the bandwagon because Tommy did not like Stunner Girl and she was doing too much in that situation. And didn't she sneak Stunner Girl when Stunner Girl was outside and she was supposed to have a conversation with Biggie, and then the producer came over there and was fixing the mic on Stunner Girl's shirt, and Biggie reached over and she smacked Stunner Girl in the face and Stunner Girl fell on the bench? And then didn't she do that same thing to, you know, Smiley last season at the reunion when they were in the trailer? She reached over and smacked Smiley in the face when Smiley didn't know that it was going to come to blows. So I just don't understand why she's acting like a victim. And she's yelling and screaming at Natalie, and Natalie was right. She said, you were talking shit on the internet saying you were going to smack Jela, so when she sees you and she wants to fight you, don't act surprised. And that is the truth. Natalie can be very messy, but she was right about that situation. And I just felt like Biggie wanted the other girls to protect her, especially Natalie. She wants Natalie to protect her, but Natalie don't protect Scotty when Scotty gets into fights with people. She doesn't protect Jayla when Jayla's been getting into fights with people. She doesn't protect any of these girls when they get into fights because it's not her job to do that. So I was confused where Biggie was coming from. And then Meatball and Bianca end up walking into the house, and Sapphire immediately starts yelling things out to Bianca, and Bianca just ends up walking away, and Meatball got annoyed about it because she said that Bianca was walking away like she was scared. And so Bianca storms back over there and says that she's not afraid of anybody, but security was really not trying to let Sapphire and Bianca fight each other. I think it was because Sapphire's shoulder, she had to wear this thing on her shoulder for 24 hours, so she wasn't supposed to be fighting, but she wanted to fight anyway. And at some point during this episode, at the very end, security finally ended up moving out of the way and Sapphire and Bianca start fighting. Now the episode cut there, but when they showed the clip for next week's episode, to me it looked like Sapphire was getting the better of Bianca during that fight. There was just so many fights going on in this episode. There was so much drama. It was definitely entertaining. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Caribbean. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all, and until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.